Hi, my name is Jonathan Regan, also known as New Questions. Welcome to a blockchaineducation.com.au coin update, an altcoin update, because we don't want to talk about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin kind of, it's pretty painful. I was saying in previous YouTube videos that we are swinging $1,000 either side of $10,000. Unfortunately, since my last update, which is about a week and a half ago, we've seen a sustained downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, Bitcoin basically down at $8,000 now. Not so good. We should have seen this coming because, to be honest, we've been going sideways, but we're still sliding. We've been DI negative on the ADX for quite a while now. If you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you're only interested in Bitcoin and the remaining value of a US dollars in terms of your portfolio, I mean, it's not good. You're down 20-30% since that sort of $11,000 sort of hiatus that we had a little while ago. If you're a trader of altcoin, boy, has this been a brilliant week or two for some of these gains. Some of these gains going 150% in 1 week. I'm going to show you one that went 580% in less than 2 months. That's insane. One that I've talked about loads of times in the YouTube videos in the past. Before we get into the nitty gritty, some housekeeping or office keeping, because look, I'm in my new office. Well, it's not actually a new office. It feels new because I've twisted myself around. This video is coming out of the iPhone 11 Pro, unlike the full frame cameras I was using before. Digital audio by a lavalier microphone. Got some new lights, got my view. Hopefully I'm exposed. Hopefully the view's exposed. It's going to be beautiful on some of these summer days coming up here from the Gold Coast. Triple monitors, twin 65-inch televisions. The life of a trader. I've got to say, it's enjoyable doing this. If you're interested in becoming a full-time trader, or even if you're interested in just making money, you should think about joining blockchaineducation.com.au. We're doing a special price. I mean, it's an insane price. I've got to be honest. Like, we can't sustain this sort of price. It is a huge discount. It's a 66% discount right now. I definitely think you should join. If you aren't, flush and you can't afford the cost right now, like, comment, subscribe, maybe hit that bell notification button and stuff. You want to stay on track with some of these altcoins, because a lot of the stuff that I've been describing, the other analysts that are doing the other videos on this channel, some of these coins that we've been talking about for weeks now, they're up 200-400%, and some of them ain't slowing down. Some of them are accelerating, and you want to make sure that you pay attention to some of this stuff, because this public stuff on YouTube is well, put it this way, it's content that we normally reserve for our members. Many of our members have been with us for a couple of years now. So anyway, that's the plug for the company. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, all right? Let's just start with Bitcoin. Let's BTC US dollar tether at Binance. Let's just turn on some stuff. Oh, look at that. That's not a good looking chart, right? That's a sustained downtrend. This is the sort of 9,000 area. If we go back up to the 4-hour chart, it's actually, sort of worse, because we got up to about 10,300 on that savage pump. I think this particular area here, this particular section here was designed, oh, that's a bit red. Let's change that out to something a little bit easier to identify. There we go. I think this particular section here, which was only a period of about 12 hours, was designed to knock out a lot of the short positions. As you guys know, you can have leverage short, and if you're pumping up as much as 40% in 20 hours, that's going to knock out a tremendous amount of shorts. It ended up becoming a sort of short-term uptrend. You can see that there was an entry here, not a bad entry when it crossed the 200 and the 50. The 50 moving average suddenly went up. The price came down to meet it, sat on that 50, but as soon as we broke down below that 50 moving average, that was game over. You can see the red bands kicking in. It goes DI negative. The trend basically goes under 25. We fell out of the middle of the RSI cave. This is the RSI cave. You can see it. We fell out of the middle of it and we just headed lower. And at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is a series of lower highs. You can see lower highs and a series of lower lows. So we come flat, another lower low, another lower low, another lower low. I mean, we might get another move, which is another lower high, and then down here, another lower low. It's not looking all that great. This level here has got to be expected to be some sort of resistance. So if you're in dollar Tether or US dollars or euros right now, you sort of want to be thinking about maybe looking at, let's have a look around this sort of area as a potential buy zone if we get down here, because we know that previously not only was it at a place of resistance, but it was also the place where things just absolutely rocketed up. So somebody wanted to buy a lot at that price. They were prepared to get in at that price and buy an institutional level amount. So what can we say right now? Let's go to the Bitcoin daily. Not so great. I mean, we're now below the 200 moving average. We've actually slipped below the 50 as well, even across that massive boost there. You can see we had a great entry over here. We went as high as $14,000, and now we're just making a series of sustained sustained lower highs. Here's your lower highs coming across in this direction. Let's change that to blue, clone that, drag that. So what we can see here is we had a high, a lower high, a lower high, pretty close to a lower high, another lower high. We rejected it again here. And not only that, we had a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low. Is the next stop a lower low around about this $6,000 area? I don't think so. You know why? Because at the floor of this downtrend channel, if we drop into this sort of $6,000 area at the floor here, $6,500 area, there's really nothing back here. There's no sort of resistance or support. I mean, could we possibly drop down here? I mean, it's not looking good, is it? What we really need is to see a break out of this downtrend channel. So let's, Control Z, Control CV, drag that down here. What we really need from Bitcoin, and I'm going to make this fluoro green, is we need to bounce off the floor of this RSI cave here, and we need to break outside this channel and across this 200 moving average. And then I think that essentially means a new higher high. Now, unfortunately, that area is at $10,000. So not only is that going to be a stretch of the imagination to break to the upside out of this sustained long-term downtrend, let's have a look at this downtrend and put it into perspective. Coming out of that $14,000 zone, we're now down here, 146 days later, 38% lower and a series of lower highs. So this is a strong downtrend. We're downtrending nearly 40% now. And what I'm kind of suggesting is to break out of this and to set a new higher high and to break this downtrend channel that we found ourselves in, we've basically got to get back to $10,000. And I got to say, $10,000 as a psychological level is a pretty hardcore thing. That's basically the 50% Fibonacci retrace from the all-time high. We got very close to about $20,000. I think we got about $19,400. So 50% Fibonacci retrace brings us back into that $10,000 zone. Now, technically speaking, 50% is not a Fibonacci number. It wasn't created by the Italian mathematician, but traders respect it. 50% retrace. Get back to $10,000. Are you kidding? That's another 20% up. I mean, we're at eight. Actually, it's probably not. Let's just double check that. We're at $8,000 to get to $10,000. We need to, okay. So my maths is garbage. We basically need to run around about 23, 24% just to get back to $10,000. Now, $10,000 has been an area where we've seen resistance and support in the past. So I've got to say, I'm kind of feeling confident being bearish on Bitcoin. Now, having said all that, the reality is, in the last 4 months, Bitcoin's gone down, say, 30 or 40%. In the last, 2 months, it's gone down something like 20%. So the question then becomes, can you make more than 20% worth of Bitcoin to hedge yourself and essentially break even by trading altcoins? And the answer is, oh yeah, you can do it literally every day now. We're actually calling coins every single day that are doing 10, 15, 20%. So you can recoup all of that potential perceived value loss versus US dollars in a single call. And to try and put that into perspective, keep in mind what I'm about to say here. Bitcoin has declined 40% in the last 4 months, 40%. So off the top, you've lost 40% of your value of your portfolio if you are sitting in Bitcoin. Think about that, 40%, but that's all, 40%. So you might have started with $10, you lost 40%, so you're now down to $6. That's over the last 4 months. So basically 10% a month. We're losing 10% a month in Bitcoin. The question is, can you make more than 10% a month trading altcoins? Can you make, say, 30% a month trading altcoins? If you can, that means you're making more money and more Bitcoin as the downtrend continues. And that, my friends, is exactly what we do at Blockchain Education. In fact, that's the entire agenda, always has been. The idea is that Bitcoin is just one of thousands of cryptocurrencies. We watch them every single minute. We have automated discovery systems. We have professional algorithms. We have professional analysts like myself and a whole bunch of other teams all around the world in different time zones. And ultimately, we're looking for opportunity that we get you guys into literally within the second in real time to make sure that you make 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 300, we'll see in a second, 580% while Bitcoin's declining. Who cares if Bitcoin's declining? Ultimately, it doesn't really matter all that much if you're outpacing it by trading successfully other altcoins against Bitcoin, always adding to your Bitcoin collection, and ultimately making money in terms of real US dollars or euros. So let's go and have a look at some of these mythical altcoins. Some people think that altcoins kind of died back in 2017 and you don't make money. Those people are the people who essentially invested in altcoins that are in a continued decline. Now, notice how I said invested. Invested has this permanency about it. 12 months, I'm never selling, I'm hodling, all that sort of stuff. I got to say, that's pretty naive, because at the end of the day, if you bought an altcoin and it's dropped 90% and you never thought about selling it, that's ridiculous. But if I was to say to you every single day of the week, there's altcoins that are trending and accelerating up, and if you go into that for sort of 5 to 14 days, there's a good chance that you're going to make a lot of money. You don't have to hold on to it. And to be honest, most of the altcoins are trending down along with Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity for temporary exposure into these markets. In, out, make 20%, in, out, make 60%. I mean, this is insane. The volume at Binance is just going through the roof now with people doing exactly this. And this is the entire point of blockchain education. So if you're ever wondering why we're even doing this, well, I'm going to actually prove it to you. So let's check out Komodo. Remember, 40% decline in Bitcoin value in the last 4 months. Let's now check out Komodo. So Komodo, KMD, Komodo Bitcoin. Daily, you can see we've exploded across this 200 moving average. And this is what I'm talking about. When you're a long-term investor, if you've been investing in altcoins and you refuse to sell, ultimately what happens is, let's just say you bought in after this sort of recent explosion in price. If you refuse to sell, you're essentially 71% down in that 140 days. Now remember, in that 140 days, Bitcoin itself went down nearly 40%. So you've been slammed both ways. You've been slammed on Komodo because you've lost, like, so what is it, 70%. So you get 70% less Bitcoin for your dollar, right? And then Bitcoin itself, whatever miserable amount you've got left, the 30% that you've miserably got left, that's now worth 40% less as well relative to US dollars. So you don't want to be on the wrong side of this. And at the end of the day, it's unsavory and unfortunate that there are tens of thousands of altcoin traders out there that are in this exact position, this ridiculous meme, the hodl thing, like, oh, I'm never selling my altcoins. Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to get washed out. You're going to have nothing. So at the end of the day, when things fall below the 200 moving average, you got to think about getting out of that. You got to think about getting out of that coin, whatever it is, and you got to think about sort of trading against whatever position you are to try and hedge this decline in price. So Komodo doing insanely bad things. However, there was an opportunity to make a lot of money with Komodo, and that's the sort of thing that our analysts and our algorithms are looking for. And let's have a look. So you can see that in this particular area here, this was a nice period of time. DI positive on the ADX over here, really strong trend, moving from this sort of 600 level across the 200-day moving average, well over 1,000 now, blasting through that psychological area. Now I want to clean it up and look at it on the sort of 45-minute chart, because we trade the 45-minute candle and also the 4-hour candle. And you've got to say, this is just amazing. Look at this entry down here. Just turn the RSI cave on. You can see that we had a pink blitz, pink Barbie entry down here. I'm going to change that to blue so it's easier to see. Loads of pink Barbies down here. We ended up getting our blitz event. This is an algorithmic entry as part of our system. Explode above the 200 and the 50 moving average, and a continued set of higher lows and higher highs. Now look at this. This is just a fantastic trend. It's a long-term trend. Now it can become even smoother when I bring this out to the 4-hour candle, because it really goes to show how easy this was to trade. Now, a lot of our guys understand our methodology, and I got to say, when you get this sort of situation where your ADX is above 25, your DI positive, you're above the 200 moving average, you get a pink Barbie and a blitz and a sustained series of higher lows and higher highs. You don't want to go away from something like this. And why would you? And some of the guys are actually making serious money. As it broke across the 200 moving average to the current point, you're up 73% in 14 days. Now remember, I said 40% decline in Bitcoin price versus US dollars. Okay, imagine if you had Bitcoin 140 days ago. Oh, boo-hoo, you're starting to lose money versus US dollars. 14 days ago, you get into one of our calls that the analysts in the algorithms forecast before it happened, and now you've just run 70% in 14 days. You now have 70% more Bitcoin. Okay, sure, the price has gone down 40% versus relative versus US dollar tether, but now you have 70%. And the hilarious thing about Komodo is it's not even one of our star performers. There's been so many, and I've been talking about them on YouTube for weeks and weeks and weeks now. Let's go and have a look at RLC, one that I've discussed at least 20 times in the YouTube videos. This one is perhaps even more insane. Look at this. As it broke above the 200 moving average, we had a pair of twin Barbies. We went DI positive for large chunks of time, this amount of time, all through here, here, here. It just keeps on going. And at the end of the day, you want to be getting in somewhere around here. And I'm just going to keep on, look where we are now. Okay, we had a quick dip back with 345% in 65 days. Are you kidding? I thought we were supposed to be worried about Bitcoin. Bitcoin went down 40% versus US dollars. Yeah, but we didn't tell everybody just to buy Bitcoin and do nothing with it. At Blockchain Education, we're sitting there saying, have you guys seen RLC lately, or Komodo, or Lend? Yeah, 345%. That's basically quadrupling your money. In fact, I want to show you something. I'm going to go into percentagecalculator.net. Definitely something you want to be checking out. Let's just throw in our entry price down here, which was essentially 2019 sats. So I'm going to throw in 2019, and then I'm going to come up here and we're looking at 9,053. So the difference between the entry and there was about 348%. You see that kind of here, 345, just moved around, 348%. This particular website here called percentagecalculator.net is really great because you can type in how much money, let's say you've got $100 and you end up with $136 in your bank account. How much was it? 36%. What happens if it's a bit more confusing? $256, you end up with $318. What's that? That's a 24%. So you can see how quickly you can do the percentage increase or decrease. Okay, I threw $250 into one of these signals. Unfortunately, I only ended up getting out at the worst possible time at 24 points. So as you can see, there's no point trying to do the maths when you've got a little tool like this that you can quickly and easily put in your numbers. Like, how much did I get into this trade at? How much did I get out at? What did I really make after fees in terms of percentages and all that sort of stuff? So like I said, Bitcoin dropping 40% in 4 months sounds terrible for anybody who's into other types of traditional market investing. But that assumes that you sat in Bitcoin, that you're valuing your Bitcoin stack against US dollars, and that you did no trading. You essentially did the HODL thing. You pretended it wasn't happening. You completely ignored that massive downtrend I was talking about, the series of lower highs and lower lows. You forgot about the altcoin world, of which there's billions and billions of dollars of daily volume. Our guys don't do that. So as you saw, RLC running 350%. Let's look at NEO. NEO recently just doing great things. NEO is a good example of what you don't want to be doing. So you don't want to be in NEO in this particular section. Look, this particular section down to about here, you don't want to have anything to do with that. That's just, look, look how red it is, right? This area here, this is triggering all my algorithms. Blockchain Education has a whole bunch of systemic algorithms that basically help people trade. You can see that we've got Blitz and Pink Barbies. This is basically an accumulation period. Get your NEO while it's on sale, because remember, it just did this coming down in this direction. In fact, well, look, it just came from all the way. It's gone from up here down to here. The algorithm's gone boom, 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 boom. Let's clean up the spaghetti, because I got to say there's an awful lot of it. Anyway, if you were patient enough to be accumulating here, look at what sort of percentage gains you're talking about now. Coming out of that 250 moving average, we're now up 54% in 28 days. Went as high as 70% in 23 days. 70% again. So it's another coin with hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that just ran 70% in 3 weeks in a trend, which I've got to say is pretty easy to identify. Look, let me make it easier for you. Here's our entries. Boom, boom. I don't know. Would you? I mean, look, this is the 50 moving average. See that one? And this is the 200 moving average. See that one? I mean, we're not even close. The only time we came potentially close to breaking this was here. And as we know, the 50 moving average is often a great place to accumulate. So this is you just basically add more to your position, and then we went even higher again. So this is actually a dual trade. So coming out of this area, we made as much as 50% in a week. Coming out of the second zone with the accumulation area, it was another 28%. So now we're breaking below the 50 moving average. We're breaking under the ADX. We're going DI negative. Do I suggest you buy? No, don't buy now. NIO's kind of done. Let's go and have a look at some that are only just starting. VIB, Vibrate or something like that. Let's try that again. TradingView losing its mind. Hope I haven't lost the internet. There we go. No problem. It's all good. You can see that this one's a relatively new one, breaking across that 200 moving average, well above the 50. This is the 50. Look, DI positive, strong trend, perfect entry right about here. This is the 4 hour. So I'm going to go into the 45 minute because this really shows off our algorithm. Let's just clean up stuff. So once again, perfect entry, triple pink Barbie, double blitz into this move, going as high as 470. So let's go see what we're talking about here, somewhere out here. So 70% in 12 days, 70% in 12 days. Another altcoin with hundreds of millions of dollars of volume going 70% in 12 days. You guys starting to see the pattern here. Oh, boohoo, Bitcoin's down 40% versus US dollars. So what? We just did 70% in 12 days. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to have the perfect entry, although I've got to say we do provide perfect entries. I'm not suggesting that you're going to manage this trade perfectly and you're going to hold on and you're going to sell at the perfect top. I'm not suggesting that you're going to get the full 70% and be the top guy in the entire industry. But if you can get 10 or 15% out of this trade that's been running like 2 or 3 weeks, just by being patient, just hang out. Hang out with us in chat. That's all you have to do. Hold on to the methodology. Wait for the green to turn red. I got to say, my 4-year-old knows how to trade crypto now because we've set things up at Blockchain Education that's so easy that things are green. Green means go, just like the traffic lights, right? Red means stop. Orange means warning. So at the end of the day, if you can understand green and red, and we even have a solution for colorblind people because my brother's colorblind. If you understand the methodology and what is essentially the conditions to hold on to these altcoins, you can make 10, 20, 30% in a couple of days, and you can negate the relative decline in price of Bitcoin. Now, the most exciting thing about Blockchain Education is when this stuff happens when Bitcoin's going up, because then you get a double whammy. So, oh yeah, I made like 30% in a coin in a week, while Bitcoin went up 14% in a week. So it's a double profit. So when Bitcoin is going up, and it happens all the time, even though we're in a downtrend, it's a cyclic up, down, up, down, up, down. So when that happens, there's loads of pockets of time where Bitcoin's going up and the altcoins are going up and you get the double win. And in the chat system, that's just an exciting time for everyone because we get this all the time. Speaking of all the time, I keep talking about ENG and ADA and Lend. I want to throw up Lend, okay? So Lend's just ridiculous. Let's have a look. I mean, as you can see, we have beautiful entry down here, but I got to say, when I go out to the 4-hour chart, this has been going and going and going. I mean, look at this. This down here is a beautiful entry. Triple pink blitz, triple pink Barbies, double blitz, and then in, and look where we are, 600% in 66 days. Now, some people think, this must be like a pump and dump or some sort of scam or something. No, this is just an undervalued digital token from a blockchain development group with probably a pretty strong marketing team. And because of this gorgeous trend, a lot of people are buying it. Potentially a lot of people are making money out of this because of the fact that a lot of the altcoins are going in the opposite direction, as we saw NIO falling 70% or whatever. So loads of altcoins are still in a situation where the market hasn't decided what they're really worth. I mean, let's have a look at it. Back down here, it was worth 35 Satoshis. Up here, it's worth 250 Satoshis. Are you kidding me? Like, who really knows what it's worth? Is it worth 1,000? I gotta say, when I come out and I look at this 4-hour chart, I don't really see this slowing down. And I've been saying this for weeks in the YouTube channel. Why would I want to get out of this? Look, it's DI positive, strong trend, really high on the RSI, well above the 50, well above the 200 moving average. If I go out to the daily chart, it's even more insane. Look at this. This is what they call skyscraper trading. One of the most difficult things that you can possibly do is trade a skyscraper, because you can get into this situation where you think this is the top, and you wouldn't be bad in assuming that after a massive drop like that, that it's time to get out. But as you can see here, it's actually a terrible time to get out. Okay, the price swung back a massive 33% in 2 days. But in actual fact, since then, it's actually gone up another 100% in 22 days. So once again, does this look familiar? This big, thick green chunk of bands. Look, here it is again, and even on the 45-minute. So one of the things I wanted to suggest on this video was that blockchain education provides signals across multiple different time frames, time zones, and time periods. So it really works for people who have 15 minutes a day to trade, or 15 hours a day to trade, or pretty much all day, like some of our traders who never seem to sleep. At the end of the day, the more you practice trading, the better you're going to get. Now, we're actually filtering thousands and thousands of coin pairs. We look at everything on a 1-minute level. We don't just look at it on a systemic data attraction, discovery process. We run algorithms over the top of it. We've got professional analysts. We've got senior members. We've got members. We've got hundreds, if not thousands of eyes and ears and algorithms and signals and everything. We're just watching the entire market. We're filtering what's going on in this altcoin space for you. And we bring it all up in a lovely little display panel that kind of looks a little bit like this. This is my summary, and I'm sure you guys have seen this plenty of times before. I'm just going to go up the top, do a refresh. God, there's been a lot of signals. Look at these numbers. Come on. So these top numbers are called our calls. They're called our calls because analysts are actually creating these. They're manually doing these signals, or they're not really signals, they're manual entries into coins. We have a hybrid auto trading system, which means we can automatically enter these calls for you based on the analyst. You just tell us how much money you want to put in. We basically buy it and we sell it wherever you want. So you just say, okay, you know what? I want you to enter me as soon as one of your professional 24/7 analysts decides it's a good opportunity, and I want you to exit me at, say, 5% profit. Well, in doing so, you would have made 5% here. You would have made 5% here, 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 here. Are you guys getting bored yet? Do you see how good our analysts are? Absolutely crushing it. I wonder how many of our guys in chat right now are thinking to themselves, man, I really need to trust these blockchain education analysts. Absolutely crushing these percentages. Okay, so some of them took only a few days, some of them take, a couple of weeks, but at the end of the day, the analysts are running a methodology based on a data filtration system that allows them to absolutely make loads of money. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have about 15 more coins. If you've got the patience to watch, I'm basically going to try and explain why I think these coins are worth being in, why I think it's worth listening to us, and how these basically prove our methodology works. Now, one of the things I'm careful to do as part of what we're doing from a marketing point of view is I'm not really revealing our proper methodology. I'm giving you a taste of how easy this can be. I've got to say, once you're inside and you see the dashboard, the other professional analysts, you see the other parts of the methodology that I haven't revealed to you, the other indicators, the other types of Fibonacci stuff. Some of this stuff is insane, and it's why some of our guys have been with us for 2 or 3 years now. They're not going anywhere because they're making money all the time. Look at the sort of numbers that we're doing. Well, I'll scroll down a bit later. I want to talk about VET. I talked about VeChain. I talked about it recently. I want to go on the 45 minutes. Once again, does this look familiar, guys? Here's your triple or quadruple super pink Barbie action straight out of the middle of the RSI cave with DI positive for a lot of this. Let's go out to the 4 hour, see how simple this was to trade. I mean, are you kidding me? Come on, guys, look at this. Here's your entries, here's your entry, your accumulation, and then off she goes. Now, what's this been worth? I mean, this is a dead simple trade. So coming out of this 200 moving average, we're up 100% in 22 days. Another 100% in 22 days. It's like I'm cherry picking these, except I'm not. I'm just pulling them out of the system. And these are the ones that I ended up talking about. We see here, we have a rapid explosion in price across this 200 moving average, going as high as 26% in 3 days. Now on the 45-minute candle, it looked even better. Look at that. Let's have a look, clean this all up. So 200 moving average, you got a whole bunch of pink barbies here, accumulation, the algorithms are saying buy, 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 come on guys, and then off she goes. A massive move here. And then as you can see, red means get out, as we know. Pink means be really careful, especially right here. This is an accumulation zone, and you can see that FET just doing stunningly well. What does it look like on the daily? Daily, you got to say, uh-oh, why would I ever have anything to do with this? And at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of these altcoins, people are holding and holding and holding and holding. I mean, if you bought into FET based on the initial ICO rumors and the initial entry into the Binance market, you're now down 95% in less than a year. 95% in less than a year. Are you kidding? But if you're in blockchain education, we're giving you a signal right here, coming out of this area, and you've just made, you know, the better part of 32%. And like I said, you don't have to make 32%. Maybe you just made 6%. The reality is there's thousands of opportunities every couple of months, and our system just pulls them out and says, there you go. There you go, there you go, there you go. You get into these coins, you have a relatively conservative stop loss and take profit area if you're concerned about the direction that the coin's going after the analyst or the algorithm has decided it's a good entry. Just talk to someone in chat. We've got the guys there 24/7, senior members, professional analysts. I'm there all the time, the CEO, the CTO, our lead programmers. We've got financial coordinators. We've got real people who are essentially invested in making sure that you make money. So VET, VeChain doing extremely well, FET doing really well as well. BAT, talked about that over and over again. BAT, Basic Attention Token, talked about this in the recent videos. I'm going to go out to the 4 hour because this is a slow mover. And I got to say, this was a great entry down here. Pop straight off that 200 moving average, great trigger here. Beautiful uptrend, great place to accumulate once again. We might even be going to a new higher high. Will we come back a little bit into this 50 moving average like we did here and here and here and sort of all through here and down into here? Yes, probably. We might come down like this, and then I wouldn't be surprised at all if we pop to a higher high. I have a feeling that the market is looking for a $4,000 price point, so that's kind of up there. Would I say that's a hilariously weird and fluky sort of thing? Would I say it's potentially possible? Let's just throw out a couple of these. Go up here, and wouldn't you know it, that very much looks like it's lining up with that. This could potentially be the roof of the uptrend. And if I said that we had a cyclic motion here and we ended up doing this, would that surprise anyone? Wouldn't surprise me. It's part of our methodology. That sort of stuff is the sort of stuff the analysts are looking for. We've been pretty bullish on BAT for about, I don't know, for about 7 months or something now. It's just doing extremely well. PPT, let's throw up PPT on the 45-minute. The reason I go at 45-minute is because it's doing relatively new things. You can see on the 4 hour, it's been bouncing in and around. I mean, look at this insane move. Straight across. Where should you rebuy? Think about the pink Barbies. Where should you rebuy? Think about the pink Barbies. Where should you rebuy? Guess what? I bet you we see a whole bunch of little pink Barbies in here. I mean, this is monstrous trading. And once you can see the cyclic nature, the cycles, the cyclic nature of our professional model. Now, I'm going to go out 45 minutes and have a look a little bit cleaner, clean up the spaghetti here. And you can see here that there was a fantastic entry area, an accumulation zone. This is an extremely strong signal. Get in, right? This is extremely high versus the 50 and the 200 moving average. Most of our guys know this is the place where you get the hell out. Failing that, you want to get out when it starts going red, and especially when it breaks between the 50 and the 200. DI negative down here, don't want to be in a trade like that. So the period of time that you really wanted to be in this was kind of, oh man, you probably want to be in this trade from about this point into probably here. Now, why do I choose this? This is when it broke below the 50 moving average. And this is also when it's kind of going DI negative and declining in trend strength. So right in this sort of area here, you want to think about getting out of the trade, this sort of area. Now, that means that if you got in sort of down here and you got out up here, a clean 17%, easy, just an easy, simple, quick trade, done really well. Zen, Horizon, Bitcoin, same sort of setup. So nice little entry point, nice little entry point, nice little entry point. This is kind of an accumulation zone right here, an explosive move. This is perfect opportunity to sell. Our guys know exactly why we sell up here. And this, as high as it went, was pretty much 49% in 4 days. Now, not everyone can get out at that particular high point. So we might get out when it breaks below the 50. Like right there, this is when we went into this decline. This is when we broke the 50 moving average. This is when we went DI negative and the trend strength fell through the floor. And once again, this is probably where we would be suggesting that you get out. So a clean 30% in 5 days. You guys seeing a pattern here? It's almost like we have some sort of methodology that can repeat itself over and over and over again on different cryptocurrencies and other traditional assets in any time frame for any asset, no matter how volatile. And that's the entire point of this. We're not a pump and dump group. We don't have a fluky system. We're completely transparent. We're Australian government regulated company. We know what we're doing. So if you're interested, make sure you join. 7-day refund policy, even if you freak out and you just don't like it, no problem. Go and talk to Kevin or Sonali or any of the guys in chat, in the support desk rather, and they'll refund your money. That hardly ever happens, by the way. People just make loads of money. Anyway, Sonam, SNMB. What are we doing here? Yeah, so break below the 50 and the 200. So definitely want to be getting out in this area here. DI negative for quite a while now, so I don't expect people to be getting in here. As you guys know, it's been about a week since I've done this, and I've spent about 3 days like messing around with my office. So I'm a little delayed on some of this sort of stuff. I haven't actually looked at what's happening right now in the market, but you can see the entry. The entry was obvious. Boom, DI positive. Good chunk of time here. Came up, back into this 50 moving average, up, back into the 50 moving average, up, and then eventually we just broke out. So let's see what could have been done here. You could have had as much as, I don't know, 27%. Can you manage to get sort of a nice little 15% or 10% out of this? Absolutely. Easy as pie. I've got to say, this is not a difficult market to trade when you have a methodology, a data discovery system, and a bunch of people that actually can make sense of all this madness. Speaking of madness, look at that candle. Geez, eye protection required. Let's go out to the 4 hour with MCO, another one of those slow moving coins. And as you can see, it's really not something that you want to mess with. I was going to say something a bit ruder, but it's certainly not something you want to stuff with, right? Perfect entry. Now this entry is back in September. Now, were we calling it in September? Of course we were. Go and check some of my YouTube videos. I talk about MCO back then, talking about breaking across the 200, talking about these pink Barbies, talking about all the coins and the gains that everyone's making. But look what's happened since. It's just a series of higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We're going to get another higher low up here. I do remember off the top of my head saying that when we were back here that we're probably going to go all the way to 5,000. And look where we are. We're at 5,000. So we actually made it. Now, will the market support a move higher? Well, I got to say, I don't really see too much negative about this. Like I said, series of higher lows. We're getting higher highs now. We just made another higher high in the last like 8 hours. Can we go any higher? Sure. Off the top of my head, I'm not strong on fundamentals because I really don't care about it. I think this is associated with some sort of crypto debit card. Good, sustained, positive news cycle. A lot of people buying into MCO. Been around for a really long time. Let's talk about Link, another super performer. And once again, woohoo, look at those moves, like crazy move out of that 250 zone right here. I got to say, that's a pretty explosive move. But look at it come back into the 50 and then back into that 200. What an accumulation area, and then pops again. Let's go to the daily because I want to see what the daily looks like on this coin. It's really been doing crazy things. I'm going to clean it up because from a trading point of view, this has just been absolutely awesome. So initial entries down here, where are we now? This is one of those coins that's also gone 600%. So Lend and Link running 600%. RLC, I think, ran 350%. We saw a whole bunch running 100% and 70%, 30%, 20%. Now, have a look at this. Have a quick look at the system, refresh it, and then I'm just going to scroll quickly. You can put the YouTube video into slow motion or whatever. Let's get rid of the highlighting. Stop it. Stop. All right. Screw it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to refresh it again and scroll. Scroll. That's a lot of signals, right? Signals and algorithmic entries, as well as professionals giving you exact entries like manually created charts with our methodology, descriptions, commentary. I don't show that side of the system because obviously that's something that we keep for paid members. But with every single entry that the analysts do, there's a chart, like a custom drawn chart. They're reasoning why they think this is a good entry, a sort of explanation of the methodology, as well as all the prior calls that we've made as a company on MCO, for example, how much MCO went up last time. It truly is a very sophisticated system that nobody else has. It's better than 3Commas, it's better than Zignally, it's better than all the other trading bots, because this is a community-driven, data-driven project, and essentially it's completely transparent. We also have a chat platform with over 1 million messages in it. I think it's at 1.1 million, stretching back a couple of years now. Definitely think you should become a member of Blockchain Education. Like I said, 7-day refund policy. We've got great relationship with the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, one of Australia's largest banks, PayPal and Stripe. We're not scammers. We're regulated by ASIC, AUSTRAC, the ADCA organization, Blockchain Australia. We're ATO compliant. Ultimately, we never take custody of your money. We don't charge you any additional fees. We don't set a spread. There's no conflict of interest. Our job is to help you make money trading crypto and entertain you through educational content. And if we don't do that, and if you're not making money, then ultimately you'll just unsubscribe. And as a company, we don't want that. So our job is to make sure that every single day we're working towards making you more money. Now, this is all world first stuff. Nobody else has any of this sort of stuff. We're slowly, incrementally doing it every day. And the guys that have been with us for 2 or 3 years, good on you. Good on you, guys and girls. Well done. All right, that's probably enough. I hope that was interesting. Let me know what you think about the exposure and the audio and the setup and whatever. Lots more content coming soon. I feel more comfortable. When I'm comfortable, I can produce so much content. All right, I'll talk to you soon.